Hello, Boone High, and welcome to this week's news show. I'm your host, Maddie Desher. Twice a year, Boone High students have the opportunity to help out with the middle school plays in a leadership role. Here's Rachel Ryan with the details.
At Boone High, we offer select thespians the chance to direct a middle school play. This year, Katherine Sykes, Brittany Bauk, and Sarah Strupp have been given the opportunity. Trials were held on Monday and Thursday last week, and students were split into 3 groups. To get to know each other, each group played games. Before moving on to cold reading, the groups also worked on different techniques to better their skills.
Don't be like, hey. Be like, hey. Because we want to see you. We kind of back up to the back, and you're going to try to say it and have us hear you. And if we go, yes, you're good. If we go, no, you have to go again.
We are also not yelling.
After all of the fun and games, students read from their scripts and acted select scenes out.
Sorry, I won't do it again.
I interviewed director Katherine Sykes and assistant director Kyle Peter and asked them why they were directing for middle school plays.
So this is my 3rd year directing, and this year I'm actual director instead of assistant director. And I really help the younger kids figure out what they want to do in life. Maybe they want to be an actor, and this really helps start it off for them.
I really like play, and I love doing it, and I really want to get kids into coming and doing it in high school and getting them interested into it.
Schoolers will be working hard to prepare for their performance on February 19th and 20th. This has been Rachel Ryan from Boone TV.
Rachel also had the chance to catch up with Spanish teacher Mr. Sallin. Here is this week's teacher feature.
At Boone High, most students take 2 years of Spanish. For their first year of Spanish, students will now be placed with Joe Sallin. Mr. Sallin has been at Boone High for 3 years and told me why he went into the career he did.
I knew I wanted to teach, and Spanish honestly was more of an area I thought that I could find employment. So I knew that there was a high need for Spanish teachers, and there were some other qualifying things. And in general, I've always been fascinated by other cultures and language in general. I would say that I had teachers that were a big influence on me when I was in high school.
As a hobby, Mr. Sallin also plays board games in his free time.
When I started playing board games from a perspective, at first I thought, board games are something that are kind of boring and, that's something you do when you don't have anything else to do. And I thought of them like Monopoly and, Connect Four and stuff like that. But when I actually started learning that people who play board games enjoy being around other people and getting to speak to them, be actually close to them, it's like a social activity.
You can find Mr. Sallin in the freshman wing in room 7212. This has been Rachel Ryan from Boone TV.
Thank you, Rachel. The spring soccer season is just around the corner. Kurt Yeager has more on how the boys are preparing for the upcoming season.
This Sunday, Torador Soccer had an open gym to work on skills and prepare for the upcoming season. Coach Dow explains why she likes open gyms.
The open gyms are very important for soccer because it's a skill that you can lose over time. It gets your footwork improved, gets you conditioned, gets you ready for the field of play. It gets some team bonding going before the season actually starts. Gets a little fun before we get into the pressure situations. It's really good to try to get some more kids coming out, just come see how much fun it is.
Junior Brenton Gustafson says why he likes open gyms.
I like soccer open gyms because I like to play soccer. I like working on my skills, and I like, getting the exercise and hanging out with everybody. It's a pretty good time.
If you are interested in soccer, talk to Mrs. Dow for more information. This has been Kurt Yeager from Boone TV.
Thanks, Kurt. And now here's Justin Elsner with a look back at this week's sports.
The girls' basketball team faced off against the Perry Jayettes and the Newton Cardinals this past week. Corbin Waffle was at both matchups and has your recap.
We're on the Cage Shelley Fieldhouse as the Boone Toradors host the Perry Blue Jays. Yeah! Boone remains 14th in the state in 4A. Yeah! In the first quarter of play, the Toradors took an early lead behind their production in the paint. But the Blue Jays started to close that lead, but it just wasn't enough as Boone was on top with a score of 13-9 at the end of the first. In the second quarter, Boone pulled away from Perry with some nice drives to the basket and some excellent shooting. The Toreadors held their lead going into halftime at 26-15. After coming out of the locker rooms, the Toreadors caught fire as they couldn't seem to miss, this being their second most scored points in a quarter this year at 25. The third quarter score was 51-24. In the fourth quarter, Boone remained on top as they beat Perry 60-30. 3 Toreadors were in the double digits as Laura Anderson had her season high. From Boone TV, I'm Corbin Waffle. On Tuesday, January 19th, the girls' basketball team hosted the Newton Cardinals in a non-conference matchup. In the first quarter, both teams got off to a slow start, but Boone started to pick up the tempo mid-quarter with a 3-ball from Riley Clayman. The Toreadors' defense held the Cardinals to only 2 points in the first quarter, bringing the score to 13-2. In the second, Newton started to chip away at Boone's lead with some buckets down low, but the Toreadors kept the pressure on the Cardinals and led going into the locker rooms at 27-7. After halftime, Newton's Hannah Rhodes started to heat up behind the arc, mounting a possible comeback. But sophomore Caitlin Shittle had a sweet dish to Clara Sandvik, who made the easy 2, bringing the third quarter score to 36-17. In the final quarter of regulation, Clara Sandvik continued to find her success down low as the Toreadors held on and won the game with the final score of 50-27. From Boone TV, I'm Corbin Waffle.
After a great win over the Carroll Tigers Tuesday night, the boys basketball team took on the fast-paced Blue Jays of Perry. Here's my recap on this hotly contested conference game. Here tonight, we have the Raccoon River Conference matchup of the week as the Boone Toreadors take on the Perry Blue Jays in hopes of getting their second conference win in a row after taking down Carroll last Tuesday night. First quarter action. Boone's Danny Anderson drove and dished to John Herrick, who knocked down the 3-ball to give Boone an early lead. With under a minute to go in the first, Schmieke got an open look from behind the arc and knocked down the triple to give the Toreadors a 4-point advantage. 3 minutes into the second quarter, Perry's Kyle Nevitt drove, pulled up at the elbow, and hit the dagger to cut Boone's lead down to 10. Let's jump to the second half action where Perry's Shamad Ivory stared down Schmieke and with this quick release knocked down a 3-ball from downtown. The Blue Jays fell behind and trailed by 26 at this point. Later in the third quarter, Boone's Ethan Lewis drove in the lane and got his shot to drop with a foul for a 3-point play. He finished with 13 on the night. In the final quarter, John Herrick stole the ball and threw it down with intensity, extending the lead even more. Take another look. Boone took down Perry in dominating fashion to get them their 5th win of the season, putting their record at 5-6. Coach Bowdy was very pleased with the team's performance.
We did a good job containing their penetration, not giving up a ton of threes early. I think that was really helpful to us. But I think the key was limiting to them one shot attempt per trip.
From Boone TV Sports, I'm Justin Elsner. In other action this week, the boys' swimming team took to the pool this past Tuesday to battle the Carroll Tigers. The Toreadors came out on top by a team score of 105-65. That brings their dual record to 6-1 on the season. This has been Justin Elsner for Boone TV Sports. Now back to you, Maddie.
Thank you, Justin. Two Guys in the Movie is back once again. They watched the Oscar-nominated film Revenant. Let's see how they feel about the latest DiCaprio film.
I ain't afraid to die anymore. I've done it already.
What's up, Boone High? Two Guys in a Movie is back this week in the freezing cold with our review of The Revenant.
Released on Christmas Day, we are here a few weeks later to break it down and criticize it.
Set in 1823 South Dakota, Hugh Glass, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, is a rugged mountain man who is elk hunting with his group and his half-Native American son, Hawk. After being attacked by a large Native American tribe, they are forced to escape while Glass is fatally injured. Another member of the group, John Fitzgerald, played by Tom Hardy, kills Hawk after attempting to murder Glass. After leaving him for dead, Glass musters his strength and begins a quest fueled by revenge, making him the Revenant.
We both enjoyed this movie, but it's still not without its slight issues.
We agreed on giving the movie a solid 8.5 out of 10. Pros of The Revenant include, the setting is extremely beautiful and there are some painting wide shots that stand out. DiCaprio gives a performance that could finally get him an Oscar, and it's full of drama and it's very intense.
Some small cons are that it was very slow at parts, especially when he was mauled by a bear and he was then crippled for most of the movie.
What Kurt's implying is the movie drags a little bit because DiCaprio is on the verge of death trying to come back. He's injured for most of the film, making it a tedious process at times. Each time he slows down, you're allowed to take in the visual eye candy, and DiCaprio gives a great raw emotion in his performance.
This has been Two Guys in a Movie reviewing The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio.
We definitely recommend this film, and have a great day, Boone High.
Great job, guys! Have you been lost these past few weeks without Mr. Lukewarm to keep you in the loop with what's trending? Well, no fear. Alex Carey is here to give you all the hot details.
Hello, good people of Boone High. I'm Alex Carey, and this is What's Trending. So, just last week, you might have been one of those people saying, "What's wrong with the Iowa State Cyclones? They just can't play defense. I don't think Coach Prohm's gonna work out." But then they beat my beloved K-State Wildcats on the road and took down #1 Oklahoma this past Monday. Behind old man game George Niang, shifty point guard Monte Morris, and defensive stopper Matt Thomas, the Cyclones have seemed to right the ship. Until at least next time they lose and the Cyclone Nation loses their mind again. For a new segment this week, we're going to feature politics. Let's check in with this past week's highlights.
2 Corinthians, right? 2 Corinthians.
Senator Sanders called him weak, disappointing.
He wouldn't want, quote, such a hothead with his finger on the nuclear codes. You as well have raised
China.
Aren't politics fun? And now, here are 5 items trending in 10 seconds. The Revenant plays second at the box office. Hawkeye basketball is in the top 10. Miley Cyrus is back together with Liam Hemsworth. Jamie Foxx saved someone from a fire. And the Boone girls basketball team has won 10 straight games. That's it for this week. Please check back next week for What's Trending. I'm out.
Thanks for watching this week's news show. We'll be back next week with the latest news, sports, and entertainment at BHS. In the meantime, you can watch and read all of our stories at BooneTV.com. Have a great weekend, Boone High.